Philip, just to let the, you're just outside of Edmonton, Canada.
Yeah, we're about 5 miles north of Edmonton. Not very far.
Right. And
you live in Canada, but you spent a lot of time in Hawaii, right?
I've spent a lot of time in Hawaii over the last few years. Been there probably at least a dozen times over the last 10 years, but more, especially in the last 4 years.
And the reason for that?
Well, the first time we went down for my 25th anniversary, my wife, actually, we were going to go to Tofino in BC and for our 25th anniversary. But when she told me the prices for the hotels in Tofino, I said, oh my gosh, we could probably go to Hawaii for less. So we ended up going to Hawaii instead, to Maui. And there I ended up seeing all the different art galleries on Front Street, fell in love with the place. And so we went back again. And then I got to meet a few art directors and salespeople, and had a great story to tell about that we talked about before, but a good friend of mine now, and my mentor. So that's been great. So we continue to go to Hawaii.
Yeah,
not a bad place.
We can see a few. No, not at all. But we could see a few pieces behind you a little bit, and Philip paints some great seascapes and waves and landscapes that the viewers should go check out your RAVE booth to see a little bit better, because they're kind of far away there. But why don't you tell us the story about meeting Ray? There you go.
There we go.
And tell us the story about meeting Ray Tabora, because that was a pretty good story that I enjoyed, because I ran a gallery in Hawaii for many years, and I was there every 3 months, and I know exactly the locations you're talking about. So take it away.
Yeah. So a few years ago, about 4 years ago in the summertime, I was at the Sergeant's Fine Art and taking some up close photos of a piece by Fabian Perez. It's The Old Man at the Bar, which, for a lot of reasons I connected with, and just a beautiful piece. And I was taking close-up photos of the brush strokes and just trying to figure out the painting and stuff. And the director, Jill Jacoby, asked me if I was an artist. And I said, well, I try to be sometimes. And she said, well, most of you artists tend to have stuff on your phone. So why don't you show me what you got? And so I did. And she was very kind and said I should come back, if I'm going to come back, to bring some of my originals with me. And so I did the following year. And I met with her and had a great conversation. And one piece in particular stood out for her. That's my Tuscany Dreams, which is on the website. And I think it's also on the 9 that I submitted. And I had already sold it, though. And so I was going to hand it off a week later, but I had it with me. We're going to have a convocation or convention after we got back from Hawaii, but I brought it to show Jill. And she said she loved all the watercolors. I had not started to do oils yet. And anyway, she said she loved it. And if I could do it in oil, they'd probably take it. And I thought, this is great. And so my daughter and I went to Bubba Gump's across the street and had a couple beer. And because it was kind of a conditional yes, a little bit of affirmation. It was great. And of course, my daughter loved it because she likes beer anyway. So it was good. So we then went down the street to Lahaina Gallery. I knew a salesperson there who was not in, Steve, but a gentleman by the name of Brian Connolly was in. And he saw me come in with my portfolio, and you could see from the look on his face, he's like, oh my gosh, not another artist who thinks, And so I asked him, could you just look at one piece? Just give me a fair assessment. Just let me know. I'm just looking for advice. So he loved the same piece that Jill did, the Tuscany Dreams. And long story short, or shorter, he asked me if I'd ever met Ray Tabora. And I said, I know I haven't, but I love his pieces. The front third, I'm sure, of Lahaina Gallery is nothing but Ray Tabora, and beautiful work. That romantic realism that he has is just gorgeous. And so he said he's coming Friday to paint. I'd like you to meet him. So came along Friday. I forgot everything at my my condo. And so I didn't bring anything with me. And so Roy said the same thing. Well, let me show me what you got on your phone. And then we talked for a bit. Wonderful man, generous, kind-hearted, just generous in so many ways. And so he invited me to come and paint with him. And so I think probably by the end of that night, I had already booked a flight and a condo in Oahu for in January to go see Roy. And so since then, we've spent 8 to 10 days, 4 times over the last 2 years, painting and learning and becoming friends. Just an immense wealth of artistic ability. It's just amazing. So that's why I love Hawaii and I love Roy.
That's great.
That is so great. I want to apologize. I think I introduced you accidentally as a photographer, but your paintings are that incredible that it looks like a photograph behind your shoulder.
Thank you. Yeah. I tend to, I told my wife once that I'm a realistic impressionist, and she just kind of looked at me like, what? I don't think there's such a thing as realistic impressionism. I was like, I don't think there is either, but it doesn't matter. So I tend to bounce back and forth. Yeah.
You made up a new term. Yeah.
And
so
what are you working on now?
Right now, well, these 2 pieces here, this is the West Coast piece of British Columbia. And there's actually another smaller piece of West Coast piece. I actually started last night. It's a 12 by 18, and I would go get it, but it's behind a whole bunch of stuff over here. And, you know, I'm not sure you want to waste any time. I kind of going through the minefield of artistic stuff, you know, junk and whatever. But these 2 pieces, that top one's going to go to West Palm Beach in February of 22 with Steidl. And this one here, I don't know yet. I just started doing it a while back and I just liked the idea and continued on. The other one over here is a little monochromatic piece with indigo. And it's coming along quite nice. It's along the river, going to a Blue River, just north of Kamloops, BC. So.
Oh yeah, I've been to Kamloops.
Oh yeah, it's a great little place.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I would encourage anybody watching that's interested in Phillip's pieces to see his, definitely check out his page, and you can write in his guest book. And maybe even you might be interested in something he's painting today and get in touch with him. So it's been delightful getting to know you, Phillip.
And you, Eric and Hannah. It's been great.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see you at one of our live events.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
I hope so too. It'd be nice. Hopefully I'll be a little bit more organized aside from last little bit. And there's no prices or stuff on my whatever, and I'm just so disorganized. But if anybody wants to look at something, I'm very reasonable, and I just always like the idea of somebody enjoying a piece of art and loving it and just giving it a home. So, but thank you. You guys have been great.
That's perfect.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
See you, Phillip.